Ripple like they've discussed. And of course, they're very conservative in their estimates of when they'd be doing an IPO, but we still want to talk about it and be able to speculate in a speculative market, people. Keep in mind, this type of valuation would be greater than ICE, the Intercontinental Exchange Inc., the owner of the New York Stock Exchange, and also, we know they are the parent company of Bakkt. And what is Bakkt doing? Well, I'm paying attention to that high level, at least. I'm trying to keep up with everything. My head is spinning over here like an owl.
It's crazy,
and
my friend.
We literally know that Bakkt, with all the Bitcoin futures contracts, are looking to potentially even do an IPO.
I appreciate everything you do, my brother.
This institutional attention is here. And then I did share another tweet earlier. Michael Saylor potentially looking to put another $1 billion into Bitcoin. And FYI, if people think it's so impractical, and I'm going to say this again in my next video, for XRP to even just get a quick push short term to $1 to $2 in this market, even during the SEC allegations, I don't know what to tell you. I absolutely can entertain that idea.
Not a big fan of $1 to $2. Not a big fan of $10 to $20.
The bad end, and I will accumulate. But
those prices are going to stink.
Bitcoin is at an all-time high. This is the first time that this has ever happened in history. $52,000. Now, whether you love it or hate it, I actually like Bitcoin for what it brings. I just know it's not going to solve the payments issue like XRP will and already is. Can it be that store of value for the years to come? Absolutely. But personally, as an investor, as a trader, and I'm going to do this video really quick because I want to get back on the charts, my money and opportunity is going to be in a lot of these other assets, and they top probably 100 to 500. No offense to Bitcoin, but it's a lot harder to double my money in Bitcoin now.
Absolutely. Get to 100
I wish I just
G's.
went all in for that matter when we
were
were in March 2020 last year.
Man, I ain't making that much compared to Cardano.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda, but I missed it, and I sold the rest of my Bitcoin, a few months ago.
Even Dodge can hook you up.
75 Bitcoin,
the Doji.
A couple months ago, and I'm like, oops, could have helped those. So it happens. All part of the story, as you know. So keep in mind, we can talk about this, we can speculate about this, and remember, I actually wanted to reference this as well on Twitter. So remember, a few years back, Coinbase got the valuation, and so did Ripple. So Coinbase, now they're valued at $77 billion from the private market. Coinbase, or now back in the day, they were valued at $8 billion. This was in 2018. What's up, guys? Kevin Cage back with another XRP update. In this video, I want to explain why I believe XRP, the digital asset, will impact billions of lives. Not just the 1.7 billion people considered in the unbanked population, but also the underbanked and the rest of the entire world. Well, why am I so excited? Because XRP is still at 50 cents, getting a nice little push up here, and we're rising from the dead.
What's up, KC?
Again, up 6% on Fiat Leak. It's because
a little bit like KD.
That this digital asset specifically is one of the very few that is servicing
the markets today. Let's go. Congratulations to everybody else who's making profits right now. Comment 777 if you're excited you made profits in the market so far. And, like, comment, subscribe if you want to make money in cryptocurrencies. That's what we do on this channel, and we help you do so. Look at this. Bitcoin over 51,000 buckaroonies. What's going to happen next for Ethereum? We believe it's going to go to the moon. What about XRP? To the moon. Well, we have some negative news. In the beginning, this little guy right here, the settlement, we thought that, Ripple made a settlement offer to SEC. Lawyer suspects near-term settlement. Well, we thought that would be the case. What we're finding out today is that the pre-trial settlement not in the cards, an SEC versus Ripple case. Both parties are currently not considering terms for a pre-trial
Of course
settlement.
not. This is going to
What
Supreme Court.
See, there's a lot of gatekeepers that run not only the music industry, run the media that we watch when it comes to Hollywood. Well, there's a whole bunch of stuff when it comes to the SEC. They're gatekeepers
just hold.
Even with the government, and we're going to be covering that in this video.
The price itself, but just how many holders there are. I just wish, I wish we knew all, I wish we could see into the future, Andrew, because all you need to do, you take the total global financial system, right? Figure out what that is, and then divide it by 21 million. Well, first, take the total financial system and decide what percentage of that could someday be crypto related, or right, where crypto could be play a role. Right. Or Bitcoin related. Then divide that by 21 million. And that's where you get some scary numbers. And I don't know if they're legit but at the same time, you worry about individual countries and governments that have a huge vested
XRP,
interest.
my
For example, the United States and the dollar remaining the reserve currency. So what do when it becomes clear, or if it starts to look like you're not having control, which maybe it's already started?
Some Bitcoin, but what I am going to do on this channel is I'm going to tell you the truth about what Bitcoin is. I'm not going to just toe the line of, hey, Bitcoin proof of work's great because the prices are going up and you should buy that. I'm not going to do that here. I'm going to tell you what's wrong with it. I'm going to tell you what's better, what's right, technologically what's better. I'm not going to ignore the elephants in the room of the energy waste, of the fact that it can't scale. I'm not going to ignore that it's expensive. I'm not going to ignore the things that all these Bitcoin maxis that you watch ignore, because that's not the truth. I'm going to present to you, and it's not just me talking. Ripple has said this several times. I'm going to show you what they said. And I'm not doing it for the purpose of poo-pooing Bitcoin. That's not my purpose. It's to let you know. I think that everybody out there that's listening should not just toe the line on these proof of work coins that do not work. Proof of work does not work. That's not my words. That's Ryan Zagon of Ripple's words. I'm going to show you those words. I want you to watch this, because these guys, remember who these people are. Remember who these guys on CNBC are. These are the people who are more or less sock puppets for the government. I mean, these are the same people who have towed the freaking line on all this QE garbage for the last 10 plus years and acted like that was normal and that was the right thing to do, because they're just doing what they're told. So I want you to watch this, because it's not a coincidence that they're talking about $50,000 and then they're floating out there the idea that the government might have a problem with this and come in and crack down, because we've seen the hints. We've seen it from Lagarde, Janet Yellen, and several others. There's going to be regulations. I believe they're going to let Bitcoin survive. But anybody who thinks that Bitcoin is just this thing that can't be controlled, you need to wake up. Watch what they say here.
Distributed agreement protocol instead of proof of work is that the ledger is much faster. Ordering transactions takes a lot less time than mining does. Mining takes a long time because it is by necessity computationally difficult. In addition, the fees are much lower because you're not paying millions of dollars a day to miners to order transactions. That seems a little bit exorbitant to me. Transaction throughput is much higher, well in excess of 1,000 transactions per second, and the cost of the system is negligible. 32 million ledgers have closed without issue since the system began operation in 2013. And consensus is more deterministic than proof of work. By that I mean that its behavior is more predictable. So for example, block times are completely unpredictable. They average 10 minutes in Bitcoin, they average 2 minutes in Ethereum, but you notice that they can be 30 minutes without a block, they can be 2 blocks found at the same time. It's what we call a Poisson process. It's essentially a statistically random behavior. Consensus is more deterministic. And what that also means is there isn't sort of a dictator that chooses which transactions go in which block. The network as a whole chooses which transactions go in which block in a fair way, which is important for some applications like if you're going to have a decentralized exchange in Ethereum, the miner might order the transactions and might inject transactions to game the exchange for his benefit. And every 2 minutes you have a sort of new dictator running your exchange. I don't think a stock exchange would operate well that way. Consensus doesn't have that problem because it's a consensus of the network on which transactions go where. There isn't one person who gets to game each block to his own personal benefit. The net result is that transactions are fully confirmed in about 3 seconds. The cost is very much less than a penny, and transaction volumes in excess of 1,000 transactions per second can take place on Ledger. We also have off-ledger scaling through payment channels, so you can, if you interact with the same parties frequently, you can interact off-ledger for a privacy and performance benefit. The net result is that compared to the other leading digital assets, we just have a much better user experience. If you think about it, other than competing on reach, and other than competing on features that don't affect use cases like payments, what is it that matters? Is it secure? Is it reliable? Are the payments fast? Are they cheap? XRP wins on all of those metrics.
Crazy stuff where people write in that it's not a fixed number. It's not 21 million. That because you can divide each one into, and that's where you go, okay, you just need to go back to, elementary school level math, because I'm not even going to have a conversation. Because there are 21 million, whether you split them up or not, it's 21 million. So I don't it's fixed, and if it has inherent value, then you can make a case. What Novogratz say, 100,000. Other people, I think the Winklevi said $500,000. If you do math
I've heard
like that,
$500,000. I've heard $1 million. I've heard 200,000.
Million. Right.
The other question is,
Right.
once it gets to those levels, do a lot of people sell out of it? I mean, you're hearing, are people ever really going to use it not as a currency? But at some point, you say, okay,
is it
it's made the
possible?
run, and then does it just level out at this sort of at some price or not?
Right.
It's hard to know.
Right.
Time will tell.
If you call it something like the Internet of Money, or you saw Paul Tudor Jones say it's like Apple in the top of the first inning, or
XRP,
Amazon
my
in the top of the
friends.
first inning.
Wild
I don't know.
stuff.
I don't know. But I don't know. We'll see. Few of this morning, it gives us something to look forward to. A few of this morning's top.
Okay. Now, I asked him when I interviewed Sonny Liew. He's the guy that created VeChain. I addressed it with him as well, and basically I can't remember what I asked him, but I was basically wanting to find out from him what he thought of proof of work. Here you go.
Disadvantages about the POWs, like wasting the energy, and also the mining power or hashing power has been growing lately because of just economic motivations, while you don't have to have that kind of the hashing power. So if we look at the root cause, why you need the consensus, which is actually to secure the network. So we wanted to find a balance, like we don't need that kind of whatever the energy or the electricity or the machines to secure the network, but also maintain the security of the entire network. So and that's the case also, you got to take care about the cost, because eventually the people who are building applications or using the blockchain every day got to take care about the cost. Obviously, if you're looking at right now the Bitcoin fees, payment fees, it's pretty high. It's kind of like deviated from the original design or original thinking of Bitcoin, the white paper in 2008. So anyway, we choose a unique consensus is called proof of authority, which can find a balance, not using too much energy, cost, but also maintain the
not be as today they are hindered by regulatory uncertainty.
Okay, so there's that. And then this is David Mills from the Federal Reserve Board, and what he's talking about here is another of the reasons that proof of work is open to 51% attacks. Listen to what he says.
Now, it's a question for everybody, especially Amy and David. Would the Association of Cryptocurrencies and Permissionless Blockchains limit in any way the use of permissionless blockchains in financial services? Would financial services be worried about the use of permissionless blockchains?
So one of the things that, again, from our research, we highlighted some of the key challenges or issues that you need to think about for the payment system. And a good governance structure is key. And I think anyone who kind of witnessed the DAO episode with Ethereum last summer, you can't create that kind of uncertainty in the U.S. payment system. I mean, you can't replace the existing architecture that has integrity and reliability and replace it with something that when something happens that you didn't anticipate, or there was a mistake that was made, that you take months to figure out what to do. And it's just not going to be acceptable in the U.S. payment space. So I think, unless there's good governance structure put in place, then, you're not going to really make a lot of headway with an open permissionless system.
So